Hey guys, it's Danny here with another investing video. Um, really not prepared to make this one at all, but I'm gonna lose 100% continuity on what's going on if I didn't make a video today. So some background. We got called on Zim. So Zim, I had rearranged all my options with a slight profit and moved them to an 18 option, which is above where I was. I was like at 1775-ish, and then I moved the Zim to an 18 option for 4 days for like $275. So we got called on that, which was fine, because you take the about 25-cent profit per share on 700 shares, take about 40 cents profit, I think it was 38 actually, but on the option, it was a tidy profit. Ended up with a big sum of cash. Obviously, well, I don't know what I was, return that was. I think it was like 16-ish. It was on the first slides. Obviously, I was hoping for this thing to carry me into the over the 20 range. Uh, which it didn't do on that run. So I'm sitting here. I'm thinking all weekend I was planning, what am I going to do with my stack of cash? I had a bunch of plans, and I look at the pre-market, and it's down like 3.5%. What's going on? Well, Berkshire had their meeting. Buffett had a little bit of a fire sale. Um, the nice thing about Buffett having a fire sale is he does it before everyone else. So he had a bit of a fire sale. So now we are all reacting to Warren Buffett. So, that changes things considerably. So thinking about my plan, whatnot, um, looking at it, because I got a big stack of cash, and it just happens to be in my recently viewed tickers on Yahoo, because I like to research on Yahoo. Maybe not the best place to research, but that's what I do. I'm used to it. I've done it for years. And Zim is down, and I was looking at it. Okay, Zim's down 50 cents. Is what I saw. And that wait a second. That's not down 50 cents. It's down $1.50. That is like an insane jump. So I got called, and then the stock price fell way below what I had even initially purchased it for. So I can then buy back literally 100% of the Zim stocks that I had sold. um, I'm paying 25 cents less, and I had sold it for a profit. Plus, I got, so that's insane. That's like a 75%. Like, no, how much of a move is that? You think, reducing my basis by 25 cents. Plus, I had sold for 25 cents. Plus, I had picked up 38 cents on the option. So after getting called, I basically am buying the stocks at 88 cents, you know, difference. So I thought, okay, so right, I'm going to be in this position for a few days. What are the calls I can do? Going back to the call strategy. And then the thing starts knifing upwards, like really knifing upwards. It's like, it fishtailed down $1.50. That's like 9% drop or something like that. I don't know if that's really a 9% drop, but it felt like a 9% drop. I mean, um, maybe more like 8%, you know. Yeah, so it's about an 8%, 8, and that's pretty nasty. But then it starts fishtailing back up. The day range on Zim is just ungodly. The day range is 1713 to 1929. That's like, my goodness, what is that? I don't even know. That's over a 10% range, I think. But anyway, it knifed upwards um, wildly, and um, I did not get all the way to 1929. I wish I had. I freaked out at 1875 and did a day trade, which if I do too many of those, then this account gets pattern locked until I get over 25,000, which I can easily do, but I'm kind of slowly moving, slowly reorganizing, so I hope not to get pattern locked. So I got to be careful for, not to do a lot of that until, well, I don't want to do a lot of that in general, but I don't want to especially do a lot of that while I'm below 25K in here, which, we're working on it. So I sold that. That pushed us to, like, what did it push us return wise? I think it was 20, 25% return. Um, See it on one of those slides. Who knows? I don't know, the views are very helpful. Yeah, I think it was 25. Where it's floating now for me. Oh, 24. 24, okay. 24%. So we got where I wanted. I wanted to get over I wanted them to take me over 20% returns on the 6 months, and it did. And then I went through a wild buying spree. Um, and these were mostly things I had thought about. Some of it was a little bit on a whim. But not wildly on a whim. It was according to plan. The big acquisitions, WFC PRZ. So that is a perpetual preferred bond. Stock. It's a stock. It's a stock. It acts like a bond. They're basically little bonds in stock form is what they are. And this one is perpetual, meaning forever, meaning it's not callable. It is forever. It pays something like 4.75, but you're buying it at a lot less than par face. The 4.75 is based on par face. Based on where it is sitting right now, we're getting like 5.8, 5.8. So, you know, that's not a barn burner. But I wanted to, especially with all the macro data, be tight, and I want to build a base to as rates fall. Well, as rates fall, this should appreciate, right? This should appreciate. This should go nearer to par value of 25. So not only is this a nice thing for income as it gets nearer to as rates normalize more, so it should get closer to 25. Um, we bought a little bit of QYLD, although very tentative on that because I'm not liking the movement, especially in the NASDAQ. Very dangerous QYLD at the moment. Deeply concerning. But I felt need something I like, but it may not be the time for it, so I'm trying not to get in very deep in it. PSEC, that yield is just popping. So I bought some more of that. Maybe not the best entry is obviously it. Well, I don't know. But my basis got dragged down a little bit. Maybe not the best entry on that, but you know, um, the world be crazy right now. Did not added some Kinder Morgan. Obviously, we went past the dividend, but it took a pretty big drop. Um, Added some Ford. Ford is coming in at the dividend very soon. And it's the lowest, around the lowest price in 12 months. So I added Ford. I figured, you know, the big man Buffett had his fire sale. He's loaded up on bonds, and then when the time's right, he's gonna blow our minds. So I decided, I've been a fool not to bet on the man Warren. So I'm gonna put a bet on Warren because he got in first. He got in first on his fire sale. And he's in position. He knows what he's doing. He's got a plan. And yeah, I thought, hey, maybe I should bet on the Oracle for once. Been a fool not to, even though I read everything he's ever written. Not really, not at all, not even close. But I read a lot of things about him. I have not, but that's hyperbole. But you know, my respect for him is very deep. But I've never really bought Berkshire, and I'm to think like that's a huge mistake. I absolutely should have. Um, so stupid, But here I am. Why not? The guy man is still winning. I think he's going to continue to win. Um, let's just bet on the Oracle. Even though it's not a dividend stock, I'm like whatever. We just need some returns in there. And then we threw a bet on BP. I don't know. I mean, it's at its lowest point in 12 months. It's got a big dividend. Oil is trending up. Yeah, it's maybe not the right thing as a cyclical, but on the other hand, I just think, the transition is going to be a lot slower than people think. The PE is just ridiculously low. And then, it's converting to more biofuels, which um, I don't think is as badly positioned as everyone thinks. So, you know, it is what it is. I don't know if I should have gone all crazy and buy in on what happened today. I mean, obviously the what happened with Zim, that was like, oh my goodness, I can't even believe it. That's because that day trade, you went from 1750 to 1875. That was almost $850, I think. Maybe about. And then that was even more crazy to just continue to execute my plan. Oh, and then we bought a bunch of Ares Capital. I was reading an article on that. Um, like this is a big dividend stock to hold for the next 10 years. I just heard so many good things about it. I feel like it's one of those I should have been in for a long time, but haven't. So that's another thing too. I'm trying to like a lot of these things, they continue to win. And that's one of the things I'm starting to learn is that, like a lot of times you say you missed the boat on these. And that's as like a younger person, I felt like, oh yeah, I missed the boat on these. It's like, the the, the the things that keep winning often just keep winning, keep winning, keep winning. You just gotta find the right moment, and I just thought to myself, hey, today, I'm gonna start doing things and not just like, not not. That's what I'm trying to do now is make the right moves at the current time and not stop making the right moves because, oh, I can't invest in Berkshire because I was a fool not to in the past. So, it's like that's not I mean that's just stupidity. If Berkshire is a buy now and the PE is low, it's and Warren is buying his own stock. He's buying Berkshire Hathaway stock back, meaning Berkshire is undervalued. And he's got so much cash he can just buy back it. That's my gut. And he's gonna find some winners. It just maybe not the moment, but it's good. He's got a plan to make cash when he sells, and then he's gonna wait for the moment to pounce and then make a killing. And yeah, I'm been a fool not to invest in him, I think, and start to, it's a good time to start making better choices, is what I feel. All right, so that's this video. Whew, that was a lot, and this is over my lunch, so I don't want to belabor it. But I thought, hey, if I don't make this video today, there's gonna be zero continuity, especially because I got a little margin in there. I'm probably gonna want to close the margin in the next few days if I can. If some of these can get a little profitable, you know, just depends. We'll see how I feel. But if I get a little bounce off some of these, um, especially the ones going dividend, if I can get a bounce after they go dividend, like if Ford goes dividend, I get the, I'm qualified for dividend, it gets a little bounce, or maybe BP if it, if I go through the dividend, get a little bounce, maybe I'll trim it a little bit. We'll see. Different things, different ways. I mean, if QYLD gets a pretty good bounce, maybe I'll just sell out, or sell off a lot. It's getting very risky with the market moves and what's going on. But you know, yeah, I think it's fundamentally okay. I just just see what happens here. Um, but I also want to be in a position where, if Zim fishtails again, I can get back in. But on the other hand, I don't mind using a little bit of margin on that. But I wouldn't be able to capitalize as much though if I'm not in, if I'm not, well, especially if I've already got some margin used, so that's a little bit problematic, you know. Um, but the thing is, my account balance is definitely. I did throw in about 400 today, extra 400 extra today. Um, and so just that's definitely increasing my SMA. Um, and that's my ability to buy on margin. It's interesting. I have a little bit of leverage in this. Well, I bought margin, so I have leverage. Okay, that makes sense. But I think even, well, I don't know, because the leverage is still there, even when I hadn't. So I'm thinking one of these stocks has a little bit of leverage in it, and that carries through to my numbers. Probably, well, NLY is a mortgage REIT. I think it probably has leverage. Maybe PSEC has some leverage too. But whatever, it is what it is. Just I'm gonna watch this all like a hawk, do what I can do, play with it. But obviously I'm also trying to maintain these positions because my goal isn't just my goal isn't to play like a one stock portfolio. I just kind of felt like this um this Zim thing is just something I had to play, because I felt like I had my finger on it a little bit. But um, you know, we'll see. You'll see how it keeps going. I mean, I wanna play it, but I also may be playing it in some of my other accounts. Maybe not in this one. Just depends on where it's good to play it because I'm reorganizing a bunch of my portfolios. A lot of this is predicated on rate cuts that are coming from the Fed. So a lot of my changes are based on the rate cuts which are coming. Um, I don't think it's a question of if they're coming anymore. I mean, not that it was ever a question, but I mean it was a question of, you know, in my opinion, it's all my opinion, and and you're responsible for the decisions you make. So that's just claimed everywhere. Um, but just, these are my thoughts, my opinion, my process. Is that it's going to happen. So I had a bunch of short-term um, bonds, institutional shares in two portfolios for Vanguard. Well, whatever, institutional shares. I sold that today. I'm gonna be getting some more other things that will yield higher and not go down, like short-term bonds will. The yield, because that, as the Fed rate goes down, those are going to crash on yield. So I wanted to get out of that. So I did that today. Um, so I'm gonna have quite a lot there. I do have plans. That portfolio, works totally differently than this one. Different options, different things. There are some really good things about that because I can set sale prices which are a lot higher than the current market price, and that's okay. Which it would, I mean, it makes sense. I get it. This has a lot of features that are amazing, and I really appreciate that. But on the other hand, I can't just like on a $17.50 stock set a limit of sell at 18.50, and set it 60 days out. I can do that on the other stuff. So you know, the advantages here actually at this point are working much more in my favor than the advantages on the other places. But I have to be, um, but the other thing too in my other portfolio is I got to work to have flexibility, and that's one of the problems too. Is a lot of what I've holded is inflexible. I need flexibility to be able to sell things and then turn around and buy. You know, um, but I, what I feel is I'm in a good place mentally. Um, most ways I'm in a good place. Physically, my health is pretty good now. I was in a pretty bad place earlier this year, but improving a lot, and doing really good physically now, I would say. There's still a little bit, but really feeling good. So, and then, I always think mentally, physically, spiritually. So, spiritually, I need to improve on that. Yeah, a little bit. But I got a plan. I got to work on it. Get everything in my life spectacular. And just continue the process of winning. I feel like I can win. I'm gonna go out and do that. That's my goal. Whether or not it happens, that's the plan. I think it's important to. I mean, obviously, it's important to be smart. You got to use your skills. You got to research like crazy. I'm doing that as I can, and then just if you have it, if you feel it, trust yourself, but also maybe know yourself, because if yeah, that's the most important thing. You have to first know yourself. Y- uh, we are our biggest enemy, um, and so and that's also I think why I'm at this point. Um, Comfortable doing this video is I know myself. I know the enemy I am to myself. In that I know my flaws. Um, I know my strengths, but the most important thing is you have to know your flaws. And so now that I understand myself, I can start to work with myself to win. But if you don't understand yourself, that got to start there, I think. Anyway, sorry, this got crazy, but I wanted to get it down and do it because otherwise, just none of it's gonna make sense, because it's crazy. Anyway, until next time, peeps.